I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine, and I'm speaking today with Michael Bacon. Michael is head of U.S. Life and Health Globals and head of U.S. Life and Health Transaction Origination for Swiss Re. Michael, so glad you could join us today.
Hey, John, great to be with you today.
So Michael, can you tell us a little bit about what your role is?
Sure. Well, it's got a couple of parts to it. When we talk about transactions, which is really what we're here to talk about today, um, I lead a small team which sits between our client managers, who are the core of our dialogue with our cedent clients on the one hand, and then our product experts who deal with the complexity of transactions and the particulars of what kind of transaction are we talking about anyway.
Michael, expanding on transactions, what current market trends in the U.S. life market present transaction opportunities for life insurers?
Sure, John. Well, I think there are probably about 5 trends that we are seeing as having a bearing on our cedent clients and our dialogue with them. The first is, and this has been going on for some years, but still continues today, is as some of our competing reinsurers, some of our brothers in arms, so to speak, are changing rates on existing treaties. We are seeing some clients choose to recapture the risk that they have with that reinsurer and then look to reseed it elsewhere in the marketplace. And that's been a trend that's been going on for a few years, but continues today. So that's one. The second, which is a bit bigger and has a few different facets to it, is inforce activity. And so a number of companies are looking at their inforce book and taking fairly big and sometimes quite strategic decisions about how to reposition that inforce book. And that often involves, or sometimes involves, the asset intensive reinsurance companies. And we can talk more about them. Third, I would say, is financial reinsurance, which has been a continuing trend for a number of years. There are some regulatory complexities which are weighing on the sector right now, but in general, it's a very active time in excess reserve financing or financial reinsurance, however you refer to it. And then the last two I would talk about, and these are a bit more novel, are U.S. longevity, with all of the production of annuity business and also pension risk transfer activity that's happening. We are seeing some companies look to manage the longevity risk that they are generating there, and whether they're in Bermuda or in the US. And then last are financial markets risks. And this is a type of transaction which has been more active outside the United States for a few years. And we're beginning to see some signs that that market may grow here too. So I'd say those are the 5 big trends. And I could talk about any one of those in more detail if you'd like.
Then, Michael, how is Swiss Re adapting to these emerging trends and evolving market conditions?
Yeah, that's a great question, John. So some of these types of activities, the recapturing and reseed and the financial reinsurance business, these are businesses that have been in place for a while. They happen to be pretty active right now. We've got well-established teams, quite capable and expert, who we continue to leverage their capabilities in executing these things. So the model that we have in place is pretty robust. Client markets on the front end, transaction people on the back end, and transaction origination people kind of in the middle to help do a little bit of air traffic control and identification of opportunity and triage. When it comes to some of these other trends that we've talked about, we've been building additional capabilities to support them. So in the case of the inforce activity, we've developed a set of relationships with all of the asset intensive reinsurance companies, because we're often a very good partner with them when it comes to transactions. Maybe the business has got a lot of asset intensity. We don't so much like that, but maybe it also comes with some biometric intensity, and the asset intensive reinsurers often would prefer to lay that off. So we've established ways of working with them and partnering, whether it be in a bilateral conversation or an auction conversation. So new client relationships and new ways of working. When it comes to longevity, we have been leveraging the really strong team we already have in longevity. We're quite active in longevity on a worldwide basis. Today and historically, that center of gravity has sat in Europe, in the UK, and to some extent on the continent. And we've been using the team there, putting them in the context of US discussions to see what opportunity we can unearth. So again, it's really about repositioning our client efforts to talk to folks who are originating this longevity, helping them understand that we have a value proposition, leveraging the team in the UK, and then trying to figure out if there's kind of a Venn diagram overlap between, the benefit they get from laying off that risk and the pricing that we can offer in that. And I'm optimistic that over time we'll see emergence there. And then on the financial markets topic, which is another one of the new areas, we've been leveraging the capabilities, the product capabilities that we have globally and bringing them to the market. So like on longevity, it's really about connecting the dots between the product expertise we have that resides elsewhere in the world and is expert with the client markets folks, and then trying to find the transaction sort of between all of the dialogue.
You mentioned Swiss Re is interested in pursuing transactions with life insurers in the U.S. Can you share the types of transactions Swiss Re is interested in pursuing?
Sure. Well, it's kind of all of the above of the things that we've been discussing, John. We're happy to help with very traditional kinds of work, whether it be full risk transfer or YRT business, where there's a recapture, recede, or financial reinsurance or excess reserve financing, where there's a need there. And these are pretty well understood by our clients, and we continue to be highly engaged in these spaces. And then in the newer areas, these inforce transactions, sometimes working with non-traditional asset intensive insurers or reinsurers, that is an important growth area for us as a firm in the US and worldwide. And then on the longevity side, particularly in the pension risk transfer area, perhaps in the annuity area, and then financial markets reinsurance, where we can bundle financial markets risks that are hedgeable with traditional insurance risks that we reinsure. We can bundle that all in a single contract, take some operational lift off of our clients and maybe a little bit of less favorable accounting treatment while managing a risk that needs to be managed.
Michael, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about U.S. life and health transactions?
It's a really important part of our business. It makes up not half, but a good chunk of our business, and we count on that each year to help us achieve our goals in terms of deploying capacity and in supporting the more occasional as opposed to day-to-day needs of our client that are still really important to them. So we're open for business on transactions and view it as a core part of our business. So we'd love to have those conversations with our clients.
The big question then, Michael, how can U.S. life insurers connect with Swiss Re to explore potential transactions?
Absolutely, John. Well, the good news is it's the same as it's ever been. Each of the clients that we talk to on a regular basis has a client manager here at Swiss Re, and they are the person that's meant to deliver the firm to that client. We don't make a big distinction like some of our competitors do between the traditional person and the transaction person, and then it's who do I go to. With us, it's the same person you always call, even if that person historically has only talked to you about new business treaty flow. Give them a call, say, I think I've got something that looks like a transaction. How do we have a conversation? And it'll be that client manager's responsibility to bring in the relevant expertise to help curate and then pursue the transaction that you'd like. And if it happens that somebody else at Swiss Re in the US market unit that's not your client manager, could be a product expert, could be one of the senior executives like myself or our market unit CEO, Neil Sprackling or Alana Schultz, then feel free to call them too, and they'll direct the call to the right place. But the nice thing about our model is, you've got a client manager, call them for anything and everything, and they'll get you connected to the right folks to get something done.
Michael, so glad you could speak with us today.
Hey, John, thanks for the time and appreciate it.
That was Michael Bacon, head of U.S. Life and Health Globals and head of U.S. Life and Health Transaction Origination for Swiss Re. And I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine.